I've been gone for quite a while and I apologize. I also want to apologize for the background noise. I assume that you guys can hear it. I have the ceiling fan on because it's really hot and the room I'm in doesn't have carpet, so it's a little echoey, so just want to apologize for that for the time being. But I'm back. The last YouTube video I did was back home in San Francisco. Now I am living in Phoenix, Arizona. For those of you that don't know, that's why it's been a little hiatus in my video making, because I was packing, I was moving, I started a new job, and then I was unpacking, and now I'm finally settled into my apartment. I finally have Wi-Fi and cable and all that, so I can live a normal life. So I just wanted to fill you guys in on what's been going on with me in case you don't know. Obviously, if you follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, then you guys know what's been going on. But if you don't for whatever reason and you're just loyal to me on YouTube, then that's cool. I want to explain. I was previously working at a radio station in San Francisco, Fernando and Greg in the Morning on 99.7 Now. And I was the assistant producer for that show. I was on the air with them a little bit, and I did that for a long time. That was like the only job I really ever knew. That was the only radio station I ever knew. That was my whole life. And I was living at home. I really wasn't adulting too much, and I decided it was time for a change. Because change is good, people. I know some people don't like change, and they think change is bad, change is negative, change is gonna end in failure and disaster. It might. There's no guarantee that a change is always good, but I think that change is a step in the right direction, because if you never change what you're doing, you never know what your potential is. And if you're unhappy in your current situation, whether it's a job, a relationship, or a goal that you have, losing weight, whatever it is, if you're unhappy and all you do is complain about it and you don't take a step to change it, then nothing is going to change. How can it? There's no miracle. So I believe that change is good. If you want to take a risk, you should, because the fear of failure is always worse than the feeling of failure itself, I promise you. So I decided to do just that. I decided to take a risk and see what else was out there for me in the world. And it so happened that a show that I personally followed on social media called Tino Cochino Radio, I could never listen to the show because it wasn't airing in the Bay Area, so I couldn't hear the show, but I was a fan of theirs on social media. I'd go on their Instagram live and I'd watch them and I'd watch their videos. I thought they were super funny, so I was a fan. And it turns out that they had a female co-host who decided to part ways with the show and move to another state. And so she left, so they were doing a co-host search, and how they did it was pretty unique. Instead of just putting out an ad on Craigslist or, hey, we're looking for a new co-host and hiring somebody, they decided to make it like into this sort of reality show on the air. So they found 5 female co-hosts that they thought had potential. So obviously, like, girls from around the country were emailing in their demos and stuff like that from their radio station. So basically little clips of how they sound on the air. And then Tino and the rest of the crew listened to it and then handpicked, selected a couple of girls from around the country, flew them in to audition live on the air, and I happened to be one of those girls. So I was blessed right then and there with the opportunity to come in and audition, and I was like, even if I don't get it, that means it wasn't meant for me, and I'll get something else. But just the fact that I can go audition is gonna put me out there. It's gonna put my name out there. Maybe someone else will hear it. Like, this is a really good opportunity. I can't pass it up. So he was like, hey, I'm gonna fly you out to Phoenix and come audition, 2-day audition. Every girl got 2 days to be on the show. And they just did the show as normal, just regular banter, did the topics, how they normally do, did the phone calls. And they did this competition. So people were super into it. Listeners were like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna get it? And they involved the listeners. So you were able to text, you were able to call, you were able to Instagram comment your votes. And they took all of that into consideration, because obviously if the listeners hate the person on the air, they're probably not gonna hire you, because then no one's gonna listen. So at the end of the day, yeah, it was Tino and his crew's decision, but did they take the votes into consideration? Absolutely. Every single vote that came in, for me, that was an extra boost. Like, hey, people like her, people like her. So I was sitting there praying. I was like, oh my God, I really want this, I really want this. Be careful what you wish for, because then it's like, well, then I gotta leave my whole life behind and move to another state. But I was totally ready for it. I didn't know what to expect. And then I got a phone call, and it was basically like, hey, you got the job. I remember actually they called me and it was 11:11 on the clock, and they were like, make a wish, and I was like, okay. And I didn't say it, and they were like, well, what was your wish? I'm like, I can't tell you, or it's not gonna come true. They're like, no, you gotta tell us what it was. And I'm like, well, you already know what it is. Like, clearly my wish was to be on the show. And they were like, well, your wish just came true, you're hired. And I was like, I literally just started bawling. I was at Disney World, by the way. Like, I was legit at Disney World, and I started crying at the park, and I was like, oh my God. And I was with my boyfriend. We were both at Disney World together, and that was like a bittersweet thing, because I'm looking at him and he's looking at me, and I'm like, I'm leaving, and he was like, I'm really proud of you, congratulations. And everyone keeps asking me, so I'm just gonna address it here. We're doing long distance. No, he's not moving because he owns a business in San Francisco. He has a martial arts school. He has students. He coaches. He trains them. It's like a community that he's a part of. And with my job, we might be traveling. So we might be in Phoenix this year. We might be in Dallas next year. We might be in LA the third year. Literally in my contract, it says the show could move at any time, and I gotta go with them. So I can't just drag somebody along, I can't be selfish like that. Hey, anywhere I'm going, you're coming with me. So we decided to keep it long distance for right now, and we will, you know, as time goes on, we will figure out, like, if I have a permanent location I'm gonna be in, or if he can come to where I am, or whatever. We'll figure it out, but everything's really good with us. I know everyone's gonna ask about that. Everyone loves to ask me about my relationship, so I'm just putting it out there right now. Everything's going fantastic. And yeah, so I packed up. I had like 2 weeks. It was pretty quick. It was like kind of like a, hey, you gotta come down here as fast as you can. They're like, when can you start? And I'm like, they're like, well, if you could start like in 2 weeks, that would be great. So I packed up my stuff. I said my goodbyes, and I moved to Arizona, and here I am. That's why I got the ceiling fan on. It's hot, in case you didn't know, desert heat. So I live in this awesome brand new apartment right next door to work. I love it. Rent here is so much cheaper. Can I just say, I don't mind telling you how much I'm paying, but instead of giving you a number, I feel like that's a little crass. Is that the right word? I feel like to just give you a number. I'm gonna tell you guys this. They have this exact apartment complex in San Francisco, like the same company and everything. And I asked them how much a one bedroom, the same one I have a one bedroom, it's like a little bit under 800 square feet. I asked them how much it was in San Francisco for what I'm getting here, because they got it there, and it's 5 times more expensive. 5. Literally, my rent times 5. So just know that it's a lot more affordable to live here. And that's why I have this apartment that honestly looks like a 5-star hotel. Like, I've put it on my Instagram story, like the lobby and stuff. It's so beautiful. There's like a full arcade room. There's cold brew on tap. There's like a 100-foot screen TV. Maybe not 100 feet, but it's huge. It's a really, really nice place. And when I brag about it on Instagram Live, it kind of makes me look like a little, you know, spoiled brat. But I'm only doing it just to like show you guys how much more affordable things are outside of California, or San Francisco to be specific. So just know that it looks like I'm paying $1 million. It really does, but I'm not. It's great though, if anyone wants to come visit me, holla. So yeah, it's really fun. So the show is awesome. I'm really happy I get to be a part of it. So let me explain the show a little bit in case you're not familiar, because if it doesn't air in your city, you can't listen to it, obviously, but you can still follow us on Instagram and all that stuff, so you can still watch our videos. So basically, we do a morning show live here in Phoenix, 6 to 10 a.m. It's the same situation I had at the other place, morning show. I gotta get up super early. But the difference is that the show is syndicated. Now, if you don't know what syndication means and you're not really into the whole broadcasting thing, the best explanation I have for you, unless you want to go Google it and look in depth, it's kind of like, you know, what Ryan Seacrest does. So like you might hear Ryan Seacrest on the air in your city, but clearly he doesn't live there. He's in LA or he's in New York. But you know, if you're in a certain city and you hear him come on the radio, you're like, oh, well, that's because his show's syndicated. So that means our show, we basically like give it, sell it, whatever you want to call it, to other stations and other cities and other markets. So our show is now syndicated in 25 cities. We just signed our 25th city, And that's awesome, because what that means now is our show can air on an iHeart station, it could air on an Entercom station, it could air on Bonneville, it could air on Cumulus. Like, we're not fighting for what company we can air on. It's like, it's free for all. Like, if you like our show and you want to put it on your station, you can. So that's kind of cool. So we're in 25 different cities right now, and it's rapidly growing, and that's why I'm so proud to be here, because it's not just a show in a city. It's a show that is in multiple cities across the United States, and I still like gotta pinch myself sometimes. I can't believe that I'm being heard in so many places, because I'm used to being on the radio in the Bay Area, you know, here and there, like 2-minute segments here, I'm doing traffic, whatever, but I'm not used to having my voice be heard at the same time in so many different cities. And the cool thing is we're live here in the mornings, but every other market, we can't obviously be live everywhere. So it's recorded, sent to them, and then we're on middays, afternoons, and nights. So you can hear my voice, let's say in Florida at night, you can hear it in Texas during middle of the day, different cities, it's whatever they want. Sorry, I'm just checking the time to make sure my battery's not like running out. So yeah, it's really cool. And it's 25 cities right now. They just started syndicating it a couple of months ago. So what's crazy is that it's already growing so fast. Like, to get 25 cities in just a few months, like, that's crazy. And it's just growing. And if anyone who's watching this, if you're familiar with Kid Craddock, it's a really popular syndicated show. Probably the most popular syndicated show that I can think of. That show, Kid Craddock, they created a company, a syndication company called Yay Networks, spelled Y-E-A, so it's spelled yeah, but it's pronounced Yay. They started it, and then Kid Craddock had passed away, I think, a couple of years ago, but their show is still going strong even without him, because they built such a big community, and now our show is part of their syndication company. So it's a really big thing, and you know, we're hoping to sign more and more cities, just one at a time, just keep snatching them. Hoping we're at 25 now, it would be cool to get 30 by the summer. Let's say our goal is 50 by the end of the year. I think that would be a pretty cool goal. So what we do is we do the show 6 to 10. After 10, we do an Instagram live every single morning. So we do a full hour with our listeners, just talking. Like, if you guys have any questions, if you want to comment on anything, like, that's where we're off the air and we can swear and we can talk about dirty stuff, whatever you want, because we're not on the radio anymore. So every day, pretty much from about 10 to 11 a.m. we're on Instagram Live on Tino Cochino Radio. That is the name of the Instagram, so you guys should follow that, because that's where we'll be. And we do really funny videos that we post on Instagram. We have different segments that we do. We do TCR theater, so we recreate movie scenes. We do a thing called I Can't Stand It, so we just talk about things that annoy us. We do a thing called Dudes, where I call guys out for dumb stuff that they do and they have to tell me why they do it. So there's a lot of fun little segments like that. And then every Tuesday we do a podcast, so once a week. The podcast is dirty, so it is not safe for work, it is not safe for your kids, just remember that. And so we do that, and it's just a lot of fun. It's crazy because I moved to another state by myself, and I know a lot of people have experienced that. A lot of people have moved to another state. I just never did before, so it was kind of a shock to me. I'm about to be 29 soon, and this is the first time I moved out of state. I did move out of my house before to go to LA, so I did live away from my home, but I had a roommate there, so I didn't really feel alone, and I had friends in LA. LA was my second home, so I knew people there. I never really felt alone. As soon as I moved out here, I didn't know anybody except for the few coworkers that I had for the morning show. So I knew them because I had met them because I auditioned. So yeah, I didn't really know anybody. I didn't really have any friends. I mean, I'm still basically alone. I've made a couple of friends here and there, mostly people at the radio station. It's only my third week, so it's fine. I will get there. I'll make friends. But right now I'm just spending a lot of time on this couch watching Netflix, which is totally fine with me because I've become such a homebody in the last couple of years. I used to love going out, now I'm just out? I'll stay in. I love staying in now. And I also have you guys to keep me company. So, every time I open up my Instagram or my Twitter or my Facebook, my YouTube, and I see comments and I see people telling me hey, I really like you on the show, or you're doing a great job, or congratulations. each little comment means so much to me. Like, you have no idea. Even if I know you personally, if I don't know you personally, it doesn't matter. I just feel so much love. And of course there's the occasional like hater comment, you know, the one in a million, just someone saying something negative, which is always going to happen, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But I just really want to let you know that I appreciate the love from everybody, because it does take hard work and dedication. It's not luck. It's not, I didn't buy myself in here. Like, I don't have, you know, rich parents in the industry who are, you know, the vice president of the radio station who just got me a job. Like, that's not what happened. I worked blood, sweat, and tears. I cried so many days thinking, like, how am I gonna get ahead? I'm never gonna move up in life. Like, I was about to quit radio altogether, to be honest. I was at my wit's end at one point. I was like, I'm not making enough money. I'm living at home. Like, I don't even have my own show. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is what I wanna do, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I just, you know, I read that book, The Secret, and I try to get my hopes up, and I try to really envision it, and like nothing was happening. And I was just like, man, I'm about to give up. And then this opportunity came knocking, and if I was scared for change, if I was scared to move, like, I would have said no to the audition. I'd be like, oh, but that's all the way in Phoenix. Like, I don't know, I'm not gonna do it. Like, that thought crossed my mind. No, I don't know. But I'm like, if I don't try, I'm never gonna know. I didn't expect to win. I didn't expect anything. But as soon as I got that phone call, I started packing my bags, you know, and that's what you gotta do. With anything in life, but especially in this industry. That is my piece of advice to you. Like, entertainment is hard. It might seem easy, like these YouTube stars are just making it. They're like 16 years old doing makeup, and all of a sudden they're getting, you know, $2 million a year. But it's like, that can happen, but it's hard work. Like, behind the scenes, you gotta really put in the time and the effort. So if you're not willing to make sacrifices to move away from your friends and family and your loved ones and be all alone, then it's never gonna work out. So just remember what is important to you. Like, what do you want out of life, and just set that goal and follow it no matter what. So I just wanted to tell you guys my story. If you have any questions, obviously hit me up below. You can tweet me, Instagram me, whatever you want. And you know, I'll check in with you guys. I'm trying to get back on the YouTube thing. I took a tiny little hiatus because I was in the middle of moving, but I will definitely get back to the YouTubes. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for the love. Follow me on all my platforms. They are going to be right here. And then Tina Cochino Radio on Instagram, and then Tina Cochino without the radio on Twitter. And yeah, just follow us and cross your fingers to get us on a radio station in your city. If we're not on in your city yet, hit up your local radio station. Hit up your favorite radio station. Send them an email, tweet them, and be like, hey, you guys should throw Tina Cochino on there. You never know. Just one person might make that difference. And we appreciate you guys. And that is it. I'm gonna get back to sweating in my apartment and watching Jane the Virgin, because that show's amazing. Bye.